Katy Perry, one of the best-selling pop artists of all time, is now facing a growing list of accusations from people inside the entertainment industry, and at least one of those cases has triggered an active police investigation. Actress Ruby Rose accused singer Katy Perry of sexually assaulting her in 2010, and Australian police have confirmed that an investigation is underway. So here's what people have been saying about Katy Perry and how we got here. It started the way a lot of things start these days, a social media comment section. Rose first made her allegation while replying to an article about Perry, posted to social media by Complex magazine. The article was lighthearted in tone, covering Perry's viral reaction to Justin Bieber's set at the Coachella Music Festival, which she attended with former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, to whom she's been romantically linked since last year. There was nothing unusual about the post, just celebrity commentary. The internet doing what the internet does. Then in the replies, Ruby Rose, known for Batgirl and Orange is the New Black, alleged on Threads that Katy Perry sexually assaulted her at a nightclub in Melbourne. The exact words were blunt. Katy Perry sexual assaulted me at Spice Market nightclub in Melbourne. Who gives a what she thinks? That was it. No lengthy essay, no publicist-drafted statement. Just a direct accusation dropped under a post about Coachella, and the internet noticed. I was only in my early 20s, Rose alleged. I'm now 40. It has taken almost 2 decades to say this publicly, though I am so grateful to have made it long enough to find my voice. It just shows how much of an impact trauma and sexual assault takes. Then a commenter made a joke, referencing Katy Perry's hit song, I Kissed a Girl, writing something along the lines of, she kissed a girl and you didn't like it? Rose's response was anything but lighthearted. She described the alleged event in graphic detail, claiming that Perry had come up to her while she was resting on a friend's lap, and that Perry bent down, pulled her underwear to the side, and rubbed her disgusting vagina on my face until my eyes snapped open, and I projectile vomited on her. The comment thread went from celebrity gossip to one of the most talked about accusations in recent memory in a matter of hours. Rose then added more context. She said she had told this story before, but framed it differently. I told the story publicly, but changed it to be a funny little drunk story because I didn't know how else to handle it, Rose said. Later, she agreed to help me get my US visa, so I kept it a secret. That detail about the visa is significant. The actress claimed she hadn't shared the full scope of her experience, in part because Perry had written letters of recommendation for Rose that helped her secure a visa to come to the United States. Rose suggested that the power dynamic between them, Perry as an established global star, Rose as an up-and-coming Australian actress trying to break into Hollywood, kept her from speaking up for years. Rose also made a point of saying that speaking up about what she described as W on W, women on women, violence was, for her, more difficult than discussing abuse by men. She wrote that opening up about this was 100 times harder than speaking about male predators. And she had one more thing to say. She claimed Perry is more than welcome to sue me. She won't because it happened. I have photos, and it was literally in public and witnessed by multiple people. She went further. Plus, there is so much more that happened in the years leading up to her silly song she won't want me discussing. That reference to a silly song, according to multiple outlets, was a nod to the 2017 feud between the two of them. But we'll get to that. For now, what mattered was this. A comment under a Coachella post had just detonated into a full-blown public accusation, and Katy Perry's team was about to respond. The response from Katy Perry's camp came fast. Perry denied the allegations via a statement from a representative. The allegations being circulated on social media by Ruby Rose about Katy Perry are not only categorically false, they are dangerous, reckless lies. Ms. Rose has a well-documented history of making serious public allegations on social media against various individuals, claims that have repeatedly been denied by those named. The statement reads, "That was the message. Blunt, aggressive, and aimed not just at defending Perry, but at discrediting Rose." The statement referenced a pattern of behavior from Rose, pointing to previous allegations she made about being mistreated on the set of Batwoman, which Warner Bros. Television denied. In 2020, Rose alleged that she left the CW series Batwoman due to unsafe working conditions created by a toxic environment, where crew members were harassed, suffered injuries, and pressured to work. Through the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, the actor said that she was personally pressured to work through an injury only months after having surgery. Perry's representatives used that history as ammunition, suggesting Rose was someone who made serious claims that later fell apart. Whether that framing was fair or not became its own argument on social media. As for Perry herself, She did not issue a personal statement. The singer appeared to send a message on Instagram stories, sharing a clip of her song By the Grace of God, with the message, "I love you." Subtle, cryptic, and open to interpretation. That was all the public got from Perry directly. At first, Rose wrote on social media that she was not interested in filing a police report on the matter. She framed the public disclosure as therapeutic, not legal. She wrote that you don't need people to believe you. Rose posted a thread declaring that today I will be walking into a police station to see if any of my experiences can be investigated. I imagine they are past their statute of limitations, but all the more reason to try. Hours later, she posted 2 words, "I did it." The Orange is the New Black alum took to Threads again, stating that she had finalized all of my reports, adding that she was no longer able to comment, repost, or talk publicly about any of those cases or the individuals involved. It's going to look like I'm ignoring everything from supportive messages to other people's experiences, but I'm not, she wrote. On Tuesday, she indicated she had, in fact, decided to file a police report and could no longer publicly discuss the matter. This is a standard request from the police and in many ways quite the relief, she wrote, adding, I can start the healing process now. And now the situation escalated from social media drama to something with legal weight. Victoria Police confirmed to CNN in a statement that officials from the Melbourne Sexual Offences and Child Abuse Investigation Team, SOCIT, are investigating Rose's allegations stemming from an incident that allegedly occurred in Melbourne's Central Business District. They declined to add any additional comment because it's an ongoing investigation. One detail makes this particularly notable from a legal perspective. In the Australian state of Victoria, where the alleged assault took place, there is no statute of limitations on reporting a sexual offense. That means the fact that this allegedly happened in 2010 does not automatically protect anyone from prosecution. Because Australia has no statute of limitations, Katy could be charged. If police find evidence to support Ruby's accusation, no formal charges have been filed in the case. That is worth stating clearly. But the investigation is real, the accusation is on record, and this is no longer just an internet argument. A representative for Perry declined to comment about the investigation. Now, here's where the story gets layered. Because there's a document that existed long before any of this blew up. A resurfaced essay added another layer to the public response, because Rose had written years earlier about vomiting on Perry's foot during a wild night out, though that piece did not mention assault. In a 2011 article shared by news.com.au, Rose wrote, I spectacularly lost dignity and keys one night not too long ago. Remember when Katy Perry and I crashed the year 12 formal? I don't. I had been off the grog for 30 days, my first attempt at sobriety, and I was out partying with Katy. What I do remember thinking was, I'll have a drink tonight. I deserve one. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Well, not stopping at 1 drink, or 10, and then vomiting on Katy's foot was the answer. At the time, it read like a self-deprecating party anecdote, the kind that celebrities toss into magazine columns to stay relatable. No mention of assault, no mention of trauma. Just a messy night in Melbourne retold for laughs. But Rose, in her 2026 posts, reframed that old piece entirely, and that she had deliberately told it as a funny little drunk story, because she did not know how to process what had actually happened. In more recent times, Rose said she downplayed the incident, because she didn't know how else to handle it. And at the time, Katy Perry was helping her get a US visa. This is the part that split public opinion down the middle. For some, the resurfaced essay was proof of fabrication. If it happened as described, why write a humorous column about it? For others, it was proof of trauma. Survivors frequently minimize or rewrite painful events to cope, and Rose doing exactly that in 2011 was entirely consistent with how people process assault. There is public evidence that Rose and Perry were in the same Melbourne social orbit in 2010. ABC documented Perry crashing a Melbourne school formal during that trip, and later reporting has noted that the women were seen out in Australia around that period. But that history only confirms proximity, not the alleged assault itself. After crashing a prom in 2010, Katy Perry and Ruby Rose attended the Spice Market nightclub where the alleged assault occurred. Reports from Australian news outlets place Perry and Rose hanging out together and hitting up the popular nightclub Spice Market in downtown Melbourne in August 2010. So there is no dispute that the two were in the same place on the same night. What happened inside that nightclub That is the contested ground. The former nightclub boss where the alleged assault is claimed to have taken place said that evening had been a security nightmare due to the number of people in attendance, suggesting it was a chaotic environment. The denial from Perry's team is a central part of the story, because at this point, the allegation remains contested and unproven in court. The public record right now shows one side making a detailed accusation, the other side forcefully denying it, and police confirming that a formal investigation is underway. What the resurfaced essay does, though, is establish a paper trail, one written by Rose herself in 2011, mentioning the same night, the same venue, and the same person. Whether it supports her current account or undermines it depends entirely on who's reading it. But it exists, and now, in the context of an active police investigation, it's impossible to ignore. Ruby Rose is not the first person to accuse Katy Perry of crossing physical boundaries. In 2010, male model Josh Kloss played Katy Perry's love interest in her iconic track Teenage Dream. 9 years later, he slammed the production as one of the most confusing, assaulting, and belittling jobs he had ever done. But Kloss's main allegation wasn't about the shoot. It was about what he said happened at a party 2 years after filming the video. In 2012, Josh was invited to a birthday party for celebrity stylist Johnny Wujek. Katy Perry was in attendance and they interacted, but then something allegedly happened. She pulled my Adidas sweats and underwear out as far as she could to show a couple of her guy friends and the crowd around us my penis, he explained. Can you imagine how pathetic and embarrassed I felt? Kloss posted this account to Instagram in 2019 during the height of the Me Too movement. His statement was raw, and it came with a pointed commentary. I just say this now because our culture is set on proving men of power are perverse. The implication was clear: women with power could be just as capable of misconduct, but the conversation wasn't being had. The reaction was divided. Celebrity stylist Johnny Wujek pushed back hard on Kloss's claims. "Oh hell no, I'm not about to let you make accusations against my friend like this," Wujek commented. "This is such bullshit. Katy would never do something like that." He accused Kloss of having an ongoing obsession with Perry since the day they filmed the video, claiming Kloss was writing her music and planning an imaginary future with her. Perry herself did not directly respond to Kloss's allegation at the time. In a 2020 interview with The Guardian, Perry was asked about the sexual misconduct allegations she'd faced over the years. She said, "I don't want to say guilty until proven innocent, but there's no checks and balances. A headline just flies, right? And there's no investigation of what it is." Then there was the American Idol incident. In 2018, while serving as a judge on American Idol, Perry kissed contestant Benjamin Glaze on the lips without warning after he said he had never been kissed. Glaze later said he did not consider it sexual harassment, but acknowledged the moment made him uncomfortable. That clip went viral. The debate wasn't whether Glaze was harmed. He himself said he wasn't traumatized, but whether Perry's behavior as a figure of authority on a competition show was appropriate. She was a judge, he was an auditionee. The power imbalance was self-evident. Then came a claim from overseas. Russian TV presenter Tina Kandelaki alleged that she was also preyed upon by Ms. Perry. Ms. Kandelaki told a Russian media outlet that Ms. Perry approached her at an event and attempted to kiss her. She claims that after rejecting Ms. Perry's advances, the singer sought a new victim. Kandelaki stated, "Once I was invited to a private party with Katy Perry, where she, being pretty tipsy, chose me as an object for the manifestation of her passion. I managed to fight back. Strength training was not in vain, and Katy instantly found a new victim for kisses, hugs, and dirty dances. And now, in the wake of Ruby Rose's allegations, old footage has been dragged back into the spotlight. An old video of Katy Perry touching Justin Bieber's butt at a London concert in 2012 has resurfaced on the internet. In the video, Perry can be seen hugging Bieber and then putting a hand on his butt. In the clip, the Teenage Dream singer, who was 27 at the time, put her hand on 18-year-old Bieber's rear end. While meeting up backstage at Capitol's summertime ball in London, Perry then looked at the camera and mouthed, "Sorry, Selena," referring to Selena Gomez, whom Bieber was dating at the time. Bieber, now 32, has never publicly addressed the incident. In 2017, Perry was seen on camera touching Shawn Mendes during an interview on the iHeartRadio red carpet, which prompted visible surprise from the singer, who was also 18 at the time. While some of these moments were previously treated as humorous or harmless, they are now being re-examined through a more critical lens. None of these incidents taken in isolation amount to a criminal case, but the accumulation of them, Kloss, Glaze, Kandelaki, the resurfaced footage with Bieber and Mendez, and now Rose's accusation backed by a police investigation, has created a narrative that is becoming harder for Perry's team to control. To understand why Ruby Rose's accusation landed with the force it did, you have to rewind to 2017. Ruby Rose and Katy Perry have a public history of tension dating back to 2017, largely tied to Rose's friendship with Taylor Swift at the time. When Perry released her song Swish Swish, widely believed to be a diss track aimed at Swift, Rose publicly criticized it on social media. Rose tweeted, "Purposeful poop to bomb a petite to a sloppy mess of writing over the top of Funkagenda. Stop trying to make fetch happen." This references Perry's mission statement to make purposeful puns on her song Bon Appetit, and claims Swish samples Dance Act Funkagenda. Wit is a reference to Perry's album Witness, with fetch, of course, being a Mean Girls reference. Rose wasn't subtle. The Australian actress also accused Perry of being a bully, stating she was triggered by people who aren't held accountable for such behavior. She explicitly sided with Taylor Swift, noting that she always stands up for the people she loves. Then a few days later, she softened slightly. Rose added, "Being mean doesn't suit me and leaves me feeling dirty. Get so triggered when I think bullies don't get held accountable. And it makes me think I should say something." There's a phrase Rose used back then that takes on a completely different meaning now. She said, "I get to see the real Katy, and then I come and watch the film where everyone sees the real Katy." At the time, that read as a general celebrity slight. She knew the private side of Perry and thought it was worse than the public image. In hindsight, given what Rose has now alleged, those words carry enormously more weight. Perry's team, in their 2026 denial, pointed to the Swish Swish feud as evidence that Rose had a personal vendetta. Rose, who had a Twitter feud with Katy in 2017 over her song Swish Swish, initially said she did not want to file a report about the alleged assault. The argument from Perry's side is that this is a continuation of that grudge, an old rivalry weaponized. She referenced so much more that happened in the years leading up to her silly song She Won't Want Me Discussing. The silly song seems to be a reference to a 2017 Twitter spat between the pair after Rose dissed Perry's track, Swish Swish. The implication is that the 2017 conflict wasn't about Taylor Swift at all. It was about what Rose says Perry did to her in 2010. The broader conversation has now expanded far beyond Ruby Rose. Beyond the televised incidents, Perry is facing serious formal accusations from named individuals in the entertainment industry. Actress Ruby Rose came forward to accuse Perry of sexual assault. 2 other women have also stepped forward with similar misconduct allegations. Many social media users have labeled Perry an abuser, arguing that the allegations and resurfaced clips suggest a pattern that should not be ignored. Others have urged caution, pointing out that none of the claims have been formally proven and that public figures can become targets of unverified accusations. Meanwhile, Katy Perry appears to be unfazed by the ongoing allegations. She surprised fans by delivering a performance in Rome just days after the accusations went public. Here's where this stands. It is about a serious allegation, a firm denial, and an active police investigation into an incident Rose says happened nearly 2 decades ago. Until that process moves further, the facts that can be stated cleanly are limited. Rose has accused Perry. Perry denies it. But the court of public opinion does not wait for a court of law. The resurfaced clips with Bieber and Mendez, the Kloss allegations, the Kandelaki claims, the American Idol kiss, the graphic accusation from Rose, the old essay that tells the same night's story in a completely different tone, and now, an investigation by Australian detectives who specialize in sexual offenses. This is not a story with a neat ending. Not yet. There is no conviction. There is no exoneration. There is an active investigation and a flood of resurfaced moments that, whether they amount to a legal case or not, have fundamentally changed the way people look at one of the biggest pop stars in the world. What happens next depends on the detectives in Melbourne, the evidence they can or cannot gather from a night in 2010, and whether the voices now speaking up lead to further developments or fade into the noise of the internet. The way so many celebrity controversies eventually do. But right now, at this moment, the noise isn't fading. It's getting louder.